Hello everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hopefully everything is working. I don't know if sound is working, but I already want to start with saying thank you so much, Mark, for your donation already. There's gonna be a lot of this tonight, so I'm not going to make it very long. I don't feel well at all. My kids were not feeling well last week, and that still kind of lasts. One of them has a bit of a fever now, but I caught it as well. Probably something fluish. So yeah. Yeah, I, Sebastian, I know, but you love me most, so I know that. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. And I love your realistic view on life, Paolo. I was thinking... That's what I said. Thank you for your realistic view on life, Paolo. I was thinking not going live tonight, like half an hour ago. But I'm feeling really shitty, and so that should actually be a reason to not actually go online. But because of me feeling shitty, I thought most of the time the company that you give me here is very much worth it. So maybe that helps. Not maybe by feeling better. Hopefully there's not a lot of coughing in the microphone tonight, but. Also, yesterday I kind of planned making an ultramarine blue. Last week I took a little bit of this one to mix it with PG16, and I thought let's make paint out of this, since this is it's not even vintage. I think it's antique, 1940s, 30s ish. Maybe a little bit older. So that's why I have my surroundings in ultramarine, and the number there as well, PB29. But I'm not going to make that. No. Oh, that's not a light subject. No, I can imagine. That's quite horrific. Anything about that period of time, but especially the point of view that is shared there. But I'm not going to start about that, because I'm here to have some positivity. Thank you, Sebastian. No, just joking. It's quite a heavy thing to watch. Tonight I'm drinking something I had in my freezer. It's a Polish vodka, 7 times distilled, with a piece of bison grass in it. I have forgotten the name. Maybe one of you knows it. It's quite delicious, actually. Do I find a difference between those old ultramarine blues and the new ones? To be honest, not really. So I've tried quite a few old ultramarines. Also, if you hear a zooming noise, or I don't know if you hear that. If you hear that, it's my resin 3D printer printing replacement parts for the 3-roll mill. I've had some time. I've had an hour in the evening where I played a bit with it. I made a 3D model. I made some quick prints on the FDM printer, the filament printer. It's basically this part over here. It's a part that guides the paint on the roller. So you need 2 of these. actually, oh, thank you, Sebastian. I've actually showed you this, I think, before. Let me just have a, oh yeah, quick update on the shoulder. That's going terrible as well. It is as if, you know, it feels like November again. I don't know, it's fully back, I think. I haven't done anything. I didn't feel very energetic, to say the least. So I didn't really do anything, and it's now fully back. But these are the things. It has a little wobbling metal piece to it. Let me have a look if I can show it here. It is quite stained. The entire 3-roll mill was stained in this color. It looks like PV19, but it was quite oily, and I could only get it away with alcohol. But this one really didn't clean at all. So this is a very thin piece of plastic with a metal rod that moves. You need a bit of that movement because it goes between the rollers like this. You need a bit of that movement for, you know, if there's any pain, any stubborn pain or anything. Also, it still needs to slide to be able to go wider or more narrow, and it's about 300 to 400 euros for a pair of these pieces of plastic, and these wear down. So that's the most annoying part. So let me just share my. I'm not going to share the entire design process here with you, but let me just quickly have a look if I can show it to you like this. So I started. Let's just forget these. I started with this, and I thought, you know, maybe I can paste something, put something metal on this, so you know it moves like that. But yeah, then you need to glue it. This is the 3D printed version of it. So it has it's a scan, a 3D scan, and a 3D print. Then I thought, you know, okay, so let's print everything, and I want to go away from the microphone, but there's microphones everywhere. I'm sorry. So I thought, you know, let's maybe print a mechanic like this, something that moves, but then, you know, didn't have the same wobble. So then I came with the same principle, but this ball bearing joint, I actually printed it inside of this, so way lower. And I printed a guide, which I just put on this with super glue. And it has the exact same wobble now. The same dimensions in flexibility, and also it doesn't let go, and it's printed right now. So this is yay, this works. It fits very nicely. Everything, you know, this is entirely 3D printed, so 3D scanned. I'm sorry, 3D scanned and printed, of course. So the measurements are as accurate as I could get them. Luckily, the scanner is very accurate. And I'm now printing with the resin printer with a high strength, high temperature, high resistance chemical, whatever. There's a very strong resin. So hopefully I'm going to clean that tomorrow. It takes more than an hour still to be done printing. Then it needs to kind of drip off, and I'm going to clean it tomorrow and such. So not today. So after I thought, you know, I'm not going to make an antique ultramarine blue today. Let's make PB17, and let's just make paint that I can put in a tube for Mark. PB17 in this case. But then again, I felt my shoulder and I thought, maybe let's not. I don't know. I'm not sure, quite sure yet. I actually thought, I'm going to completely cancel that idea. But then I got the donation from Mark, so now I'm kind of hesitant to maybe I should. I don't know yet. Let me first, finish my drink. I have a cup of tea here. And there's something else I want to show to you. Since last week, I've opened my shop, and for those of you who made an order, I do thank you very, very much for your support. I've been working on the paint last week, layer for layer, batch for batch. And I got those annoying things from Etsy where it said, some products might not be doing as well as others because some are missing a video, and I actually wanted to spend my time making paint instead of doing those videos for Etsy. I really want to do a YouTube video again. I have loads of ideas, and like some of them I actually shot parts of them, and it's like 30 to 70% done for multiple ideas, multiple projects, videos. Haven't finished any of them. So kind of like, maybe, if I'm not really feeling well tomorrow, maybe I'm just going to sit behind my computer and maybe take my laptop to bed. I don't know. It really depends how more terrible this will feel tomorrow. I'm a man, so probably it almost feels like dying, but according to, all the women in my life, men are not very good at being sick, or we're very good at being sick, but we exaggerate. I don't want to say exaggerate. I really feel like shit. Like, why would I exaggerate? Anyway, Gina, welcome. To the chat and live stream. As I've been saying, I didn't really feel well, but what I wanted to say, if it's not coughing, it's probably me stumbling over my own words. I did think of an idea to kind of put in all my Etsy listings. It's actually an idea I've had for a longer time. I actually wanted to implement that in my previous studio tour video. Should I just do my studio tour for the next video? I might just well do that, right? I mean, people have asked that loads of times. It needs loads of cleaning up then. But anyway, what I wanted to add to the previous studio tour was my process, not the process of, how to make paint or how I make paint, because, most of my long form videos are about that subject, but why do you need to buy my paint? Why me? And why not all the others that are selling on Etsy? So I wanted to highlight oh, same here, Sebastian. I don't really get sick often. I haven't gotten sick over the last few years, but yeah. So I wanna. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. I wanna show you, Ryder. Welcome. One of the first things I started to show, like what's my process like, and I still haven't showed you all. A few weeks back, I showed you this, like what I do with each batch. I keep a small tube of binder here for if anything's wrong with a batch of paint or a certain period of time of selling paint. If anything's wrong, I can check my binder still if it's the binder. I do trust my pigment. Like, I don't make the pigments myself, but so I trust my sources. But the binder I do make myself, so there's a little quality control in there. I showed my the Handmade gauge for the first time a long time ago, and I think I was one of the first in this watercolor making world showing it. So I got a lot of questions like, what is it and what is it for? What does it do? How can you read it? Things like that. And later on, I started seeing more people using it or showing that they use it. It's more like that. In some cases, I just saw someone, randomly put a dot of paint and then just, that's, I have one too, like that. It's okay. That's okay. I obviously use my microscope when I'm researching pigments. I have the glossiometer. I don't know what it's called. The glossometer. I don't really use that often with regular paints, but just with iridescent or mica pigments. I do have a Geiger counter, but that's just more for if I get old batches of pigments. I don't want anything radioactive to be in there. And I have this one, and I've had this for a while. It's not a food thermometer or something that you use for injecting meats or anything in the kitchen. It's a pH meter, and I got that a while back, and I've only used it a couple of times. That's the one, Patlo. I've used it a couple of times. Why did I use this? And I came across someone else saying that, and that's why I actually wanted to make ultramarine blue today. Now I'm just telling you about it. I saw someone commenting on wet canvas, I think, saying a certain brand didn't have a stable ultramarine paint because they used honey in their watercolor binder, and because of the pH level of honey, you get the discoloration in ultramarine. And I read that a while back, a long time ago actually. I read someone not trusting brands that did use honey, that use honey. It's kind of the same period as I've been thinking about whether I should go vegan when it comes to my watercolor binder, or if I should stay traditional, stay true to my vision. That's more like it. And I didn't want to let go of that vision. So, but I did read into this, and then I bought that thing. What pH level is actually needed to be of any influence on ultramarine, for instance, or cadmiums? And it didn't have any effect. Like, my binder didn't have any effect on this. I might be able to show. Can we do that? I think we can do that, right? One of the fastest pigments, ultramarine pigments, to react on any type of any kind of acidity is ultramarine green. Now, Paolo, that's the exact same thing. I was thinking. I looked it up, the pH level of honey and gum arabic and glycerin, which I also add, and glycerin was 1 digit higher in its pH level, so less acidic. Honey is a digit lower, so more acidic than gum arabic, and gum arabic is 5, 6, I don't know what it is. 7 is neutral. This was kind of around the 5, I think. So it's a little bit more acidic than anything neutral. But thinking the amount of glycerin that I add and the amount of honey that I add, they kind of equal, they kind of level each other out. Is that how you say it? I don't know. It neutralizes one another to the same level as the gum arabic. So basically, my binder has a pH level of 5-ish, I think, and it really depends on what kind of honey you're using, and maybe even the type of gum arabic. I don't know, but I wanted to know. Yeah, but maybe the chat is, my sound is a little bit behind. I don't know. It's around 5 something, 5.2, 5.3. I don't know. It kind of was like that, and I wanted to remeasure it again, but definitely not anywhere near the acidity that would have any influence on ultramarine. I have my ultramarine page here, which I made for the ultramarine green video, and I don't know why this turned black though. It's really weird. This turned black. Bit scary, but this is just highlighter yellow, what once was ultramarine green. I thought, we can just take a little bit of honey. Is there any way? Well, anyway, I'm just going to go to try it like this. I have a little bit of honey here in the corner of my slab, and now a little bit of water. This is the most acidic thing in my binder would be the honey. So I just made a very syrupy. Yes, it's not showing. A little bit diluted honey, pure honey, with a little bit of water, and I'm just going to put that on there. There it is. So this is the most acidic thing I have in my binder. So if this isn't showing anything, it's kind of case closed for me. If it is showing anything, it also means that I don't have enough honey in my binder. Yeah, it was lemon juice, Paolo. Yes, thank you. No, I think I've always used lemon juice, since I really don't like the smell of vinegar. But this was like the quickest reaction on this was ultramarine green. I've done it during a stream, and I've done it for the video here. For me, right now, it's not showing. Like, this is, by the way, this looks more like PB17 on this camera. I don't know what's wrong with it. I haven't opened the software for all the separate cameras, but yeah, the black is just bonkers. It's about the green for me here. This is the drop of honey. And it's not doing anything. Yeah, so don't do that too often, Mark, as I just want to share here. I've said that before. You don't want to have any sulfuric gases, which will form if you put any acidity with ultramarine blue or any ultramarine pigment. You don't want to do that too much. The gas is quite toxic in higher levels, and it can make you feel quite bad if you don't wear anything or if it's too much. So if it's just droplets like this, it's kind of safe when you can open a window. It just smells like silver, like bad. But the gas that can kind of come out of this as a reaction can be quite harmful if you do it in larger quantities. So don't squeeze a lemon above a jar of ultramarine pigment. Just don't do that, please. So for the scale of it, I don't know what level of it is harmful, but I wouldn't suggest trying it in what kind of quantity. But this is just a swatch, so this is this thinnest, almost thinnest possible amount of pigment spread over a piece of paper, and then that drop of lemon juice, it already gives quite a harsh smell. So that's a little bit of that gas. Yes, this is ultramarine blue, right? No, PB 29, PB 28 is ultramarine blue, and it can be very close to this. These are ultramarine pigments: ultramarine green, blue, violet, and pink. Yes, Gulce, as Paolo said, it does the same, but what I found out for, with doing the which lapis pigment is very sus. I also put drops of lemon juice on each of them, and I noticed that the real ones take a little bit longer to have some discoloration. It just takes a little bit longer. The synthetic ones react quite fast. I don't know, and maybe I should read into this. I don't know why this turned black. Maybe Paolo can tell me, or anyone else can tell me why this turned black. Because it lightened just a bit. Not because it was redissolving the paint, but it lightened the swatch a little bit. As this went highlighter yellow, this also just, a pale yellow. This not so much, peeled up a little bit. This was how lifting it is. The dot next to it was the liftability of it. So quite liftable pigments. But why this turned black, and I had a fingerprint smudge underneath that, which also turned black, I have no idea. And I think my printer is finished, actually. Yes, it is. It looks quite promising, I think. Yeah, it's all the same lemon juice. All just a little, literally the back of a brush. So I put this in a little bit of lemon juice on a piece of paper, and I just did this to all the pages, to all the swatches. So it wasn't even like a big drop of it. It was just a tiny bit of the same lemon juice I used with all the other ones. Yeah. It's weird, Mark, that yours turned black as well. You didn't, by any chance, use my ultramarine blue, because that would explain a lot if you did get the same reaction. Yeah, Paolo, I've seen the treated ultramarines. Some are fully resistant to any form of acid, so they can be used outside in you know, to color concrete and or wall paint for outdoors, which is quite awesome. I've seen some examples, just very old, like little garden walls, the separation walls, like the lower things next to a path or something, and someone painted those like ultramarine blue, and it looked quite awesome. Sebastian, well, I don't think I've, yeah, I answered that already. I barely noticed any difference in the pigments in almost all regards, except for this one. I do have a few ultramarine blues that do a little bit of that highlighter yellow more than, well, they didn't turn black for one. So this might be a modern version. They reacted a little bit quicker as well. So I don't know if they were coated or if it's I don't know, any more pure raw materials were used to make the pigments in the first place. I'm not quite sure. When it came to making paint, the oldest ultramarine blue I have is from the late 1800s, I think, or mid 1800s even. Quite an early batch when you look at when it was discovered. And I just have a little bit of it in a box still of a collection of pigments that I got from someone, which is basically a pigment samples out of a paint factory, little small glass jars. I did have one of those glass jars standing here, like this afternoon still. Here it is. Well, I can show it here as well. These little glass jars with, I don't know what kind of composite plastic this is. I know what it's called in Dutch. This would be called bakkeliet. I have no idea what it is in English. Very hard, thick glass bottoms, little air bubbles in them. Not very pure when it came to making the glass, but it had a turning lid on it, and it still works quite well. Some of the lids break though. They get quite brittle. I have a box full of these filled with pigments. In my search of ultramarine greens, in my search of Paris green. Well, that makes sense. I would just call it bakelite because bakelite just sounds like a sugar replacement for, you know, the baking aisle. I don't know how you pronounce that either. Anyway, it was a collection from, I think, the 50s, 60s-ish. But the pigments in them were way older or have been placed in those jars then, but came out of older things. I don't know. It's in my head, and I notice I'm having quite a hard time to share whatever is in my head in words. So yeah, nobody wants sugar replacements in their bakeries. No, exactly. In their baked goods. If you have a sugar replacement in your baked good, it's not good anymore. It might be baked, but it's not good at all. Unless it's maple syrup, then, you know, then it's okay. I think there's like 40-50 of these little jars in a box over there, just on the bottom of that shelf. And then in that box is another collection, kind of a similar collection with other jars. Let me have a look if I can quickly find a jar like that. Those are, I think, even worse jars. Not that these are terrible, but let me have a look. I have some over here. Maybe I can find one or two. Don't think I can. I don't think I can. Which is weird because my minerals were also in these jars. Where did I put those? I want to ask you, like you're from here. Thank you, Paolo. Like you're working in the studio as well. Where did I leave those? I have the raw materials in them. Where did I put those? Let me quickly have a look because now I already want to know. Frustrating AF. Where are they? Come on. I know I have them somewhere. And I'm quite shocked actually they're not here because they would fit here perfectly. It's raw minerals. Like pieces of malachite and green earth and azurite and all like different chunks. And I don't know why I can't find them. Well, this is frustrating. They actually really belong in these old, with these old things. Especially like a chunk of green earth, which I find really fascinating to see. It's not green at all, as the raw chunk of it. Thank you, Paolo. If you would have said this was a fact, I would have believed you as well. I trust you. So yeah, it's, for me, it's weird. And the green, not doing anything. The honey, it's not doing anything. So there goes that, which was way quicker than just making ultramarine first and then showing it to you. But I do still find it very frustrating that I have misplaced. I think it were about 8 of those jars with the raw pigment in it. With the mineral chunks in it. But there's a box full of the pigments there as well with the same kind of ID sample. We have crystal shops in the Netherlands, yes. I've visited one. I was walking past one last month, I think, or maybe halfway through December, and I was shocked about the prices. Wait, what, Mark? Clarity. Ultramarine blue plus lemon juice creates soda light genuine. No. Not that I know of. How? How would that do that? They have, as you're right, in the crystal shops. I'm wondering why my face isn't focusing. Like I'm here. I'm here. This is. You should focus here. I noticed, like, even in my small screen, that all these bottles are in focus, and I'm just a vague blur. Which, you know, I really feel like that, but it shouldn't show on YouTube. Thanks, YouTube, for making me what I feel like. Wait. Okay, so also you can't just make a new, like, I'm not an alchemist. I wish I was. Feel like it sometimes. That would be quite convenient though, if I can just sell soda light, which is, oh, soda light is way cheaper than lapis is. If we're talking mineral wise, because synthetic ultramarine would never feel like a genuine mineral, even if it is chemically the same. I don't dare to ask questions like that now. I don't even know where to start. Wait, I cannot. Yeah, let's just okay. We can ask it. It's not Siri, by the way. It's ChatGPT. My Siri doesn't do that yet because the Siri that works with ChatGPT isn't available in the Netherlands. Boo. Good evening. I was wondering, I just added a drop of lemon juice to a swatch of ultramarine blue, and it turned black. What is it?
Good evening. That sounds like an interesting reaction. Lemon juice is acidic, so it likely reacted with the pigment. Ultramarine blue can be sensitive to pH changes, which might cause it to shift color. This blackening effect is probably due to the chemical change in the pigment structure when exposed to the acid.
Yes, but what is the black? Because if I put lemon juice in ultramarine green, violet, or pink, it turns yellow, and in my ultramarine blue, it turns black. So what is that? What makes it turn black?
The black color in your ultramarine blue swatch is likely due to the sulfur content in the pigment reacting with the acid in the lemon juice. Ultramarine blue contains sulfur, which
Yeah, I know.
can form...
You said that before, but you know the reaction makes it this color. But with all the other ultramarines, it turns yellow, and this turns black. What makes it turn black? Why is it black? Does it have a name? Be more specific.
The black color is likely due to the formation of hydrogen sulfide or a related compound when the sulfur in the ultramarine blue reacts with the acid from the lemon juice. This reaction creates a black or dark compound.
Okay, thanks. So what's the yellow then?
The yellow color you see with ultramarine green, violet, or pink could be due to the destruction of the pigment structure or the formation of new compounds that reflect yellow light. The acidity might break down the original pigment, leading to this color change.
Okay, at least it was an answer. But tell me what you think about it. Also, I have my Winnie the Pooh mug for my honey-containing tea for my throat. Hydrogen sulfide is colorless. Ah. Maybe it does that. That's what she would say. So I'm going to just say it. Maybe it just reacts. I don't know. To be honest, and the first time I did this test, it's 2 different minerals. Problem fixed. Oh, okay. The first time I did this test, the blue, and it's probably a different pigment because I didn't settle on one supplier for my ultramarine blue. It turned yellow. You're on speaker, by the way, and the chat in my YouTube live is listening with us. They want to know what the difference between sodalite and lapis lazuli is.
Hey everyone! The main difference between sodalite and lapis lazuli is their composition. Lapis lazuli is a rock composed mainly of lazurite, along with calcite, pyrite, and other minerals. It has a rich blue color. Sodalite, on the other hand, is a mineral on its own and usually has a more uniform blue color with white veining. Lapis lazuli is more valued for its historical use in pigments like ultramarine.
And sodalite is used for?
Sodalite is often used in jewelry and ornamental pieces due to its attractive blue color. It's also sometimes used as a less expensive alternative to lapis lazuli in decorative items.
How well does it work as a pigment?
Sodalite can be used as a pigment, but it's not as vibrant or stable as lapis lazuli. It tends to be more muted and can have some issues with light fastness and permanence. So while it can be used, it's not as highly regarded in historical or fine art applications.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Glad I could help.
So there you go, Sebastian. I could just put her like here as well and just start, I don't know, a Zoom meeting or maybe just open my Instagram chat with you and you can call with her to ask questions. That's fine. I'm just going to bed then and just leave the camera on with my phone and you talking to her if you want that, if that's possible. I'm really not going to make it late, you guys. I'm feeling quite terrible. Giful, I'm sorry that you had to enter with me saying things like this, but welcome. I'm feeling quite ill, to be honest. So I'm not going to make it late. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, you know, that's probably, Paolo, why I well, oh, there I see you. That's probably why I would leave, you know, if I would leave Sebastian with her, just alone here on my slab, I would go to bed and just leave the two of them here, and you'll be the witness of what happens. But I don't want to be anywhere near, I think. I'm sorry. As yes and no, Mark, on that, because this is 300 something grams watercolor paper. It's quite hard, quite thick watercolor paper, with quite a good sizing. So Sebastian, seriously. Look what you make me do. The lemon juice getting absorbed by this, I don't think that's the case, especially when it's already has a layer of paint on it. if you can guarantee me that, Sebastian, I will do it. I have a charger here. I will just leave my phone on a charger. I'll put my laptop on Instagram and let you chat via that way. And you know, I can just have this as a background and people can listen. I don't know. That's gonna be quite weird, I think. It's been a weird week for AI as well, Mark. Don't blame them. Or it. Or her, I don't know. So last week I made a post, and I don't know if any one of you actually sees the post. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't really know. If you just literally just see the posts on YouTube when you open YouTube, if you ever see them passing by. What's Sebastian? How is your shipping going after this week? My shoulder. My shipping? It's pre-order, so I haven't shipped anything yet, but I don't think you meant that. Roscoe, welcome. If you dare me to Google a certain island, I will definitely not do that. Oh, after the after a week later. Well, I don't get more taxes. That's the entire joke of the tariff thing everyone's been talking about. They can put tariffs on exported stuff or imported stuff, but I'm not paying it. The citizens of the US are paying those. So if he puts tariffs on imported watercolor paints, then the US people need to pay that difference, because for me it's I'm shipping there. I'm paying the shipping costs, the transportation, if you will, to another country, for my part, with a company that sends it there, and from that border on, you know, there's limitations, and those limitations could be called tariffs or import taxes, and if you still want the goods, they need to be paid by the consumer. So I did notice, opening my shop, that there's loads of people saving products or putting them in their baskets, but compared to other times opening my shop, there's less people making the actual payment, the buying of the product or products. But I think there's a little bit of fear or something stopping people, and I get that. I don't like it, but I do get it. I don't even want to know the details, Sebastian, to be honest. The things that I do here are shockingly enough, and yeah. For me, it's really hard to believe that people are just going with it, and I know, I know that at least that I know of, none of you here agree with the things that are happening right now, or at least the ones that of you that's spoken out about this. If you do agree with what's happening, that's fine by me as well. I want to stay politically neutral as a brand, but as a person, it's really hard for me to believe all these things are actually happening in this age. So yeah. Yeah. To be honest, I do it too on Etsy, but and I notice that it's always been, it always happens with Etsy. That's the thing. It's a thing from the platform. You can save things or favorite things or just put them in your cart and maybe get some updates about it now and then. But and it always happened with in my shop as well. But now I noticed that. More people added favorites. More people apparently more people got a message that I reopened again, which is quite positive. But in comparison with like last few times I opened my shop, less people actually made that last step, and that's okay. But yeah. I also think it has to do with what's going on everywhere. That it's holding people back a bit, buying online, especially if it's your first time buying from an Etsy seller. I know that there isn't a lot of trust in Etsy lately, and the seller. So, and then we've come full circle here after an hour and 2 minutes. That's why I wanted to make a video. I can cut I think, last hour out of the video and just start with the first few minutes and me continuing now. I want to make a video for Etsy. Like, what do I do to try to get the best possible paint to you as a consumer? I have my quality control checks, the Heckman gauge, pH level check, the purity in the microscope, the more aspects. I've actually written them down. I'm forgetting things. I'm extremely tired as well, so I think this is just going to be my last thing. Or I did not write them down. What is this? What is going on? I am sure I've written this down. This is definitely not it. I made a list with all the steps that I take to ensure a certain kind of quality for myself mostly. But yeah. I know it is too much. I actually agree with you, Gulchen. It is too much, but the pigment is ridiculously expensive. So I can't go any lower there, unfortunately. that does make me think about something. Oh, I did send a question about it to my supplier, but I didn't get a reaction yet. So no, it's I really thought I had a list with, you know, about my process and everything I use, but apparently I have lost the list. I have no idea. I did write a small thing. Just like a voiceover thing. And I thought, you know, one of the best, like, how to sell your products with words and just images. I think like 10 years ago, Apple did that in a brilliant way. Voiced over by Johnny Ive, who back then was the head of the design department there. So I thought about that, and I did write this down. So I have, at Dirty Blue, every pigment, every pen, every stroke is the result of an uncompromising pursuit of excellence. Ugh. I can't imagine me saying this about my brand, but this was just for fun. It is not just paint. It is the culmination of a process where science and artistry converge, crafted with an unparalleled attention to detail. Every element has been carefully considered. The traditional gum arabic solution is blended with precision, a balance of strength and fluidity. Oh, this is just... Oh, I'm sorry. Pigments are selected not just for their color, but for their story, their character. The process is profoundly deliberate. Advanced tools like the handmade gauge and the spectrometer work in harmony with century-old techniques. This ensures that every pan of paint is perfectly calibrated, offering unmatched vibrancy and performance. At the heart of Dirty Blue is an ethos of restraint. Each batch is small, allowing for an obsessive level of attention to detail, from measuring pH levels to refining every layer in a purpose-built drying cabinet. This is just, I bought this. This is just, okay, I overdid it there. Nothing is rushed, nothing is overlooked. Well, that's, I don't rush it. But Dirty Blue is more than its process. It's about what happens when an artist uses these paints. It's the subtle interplay of light and color, the satisfaction of knowing that every stroke, every wash, every layer is imbued with the same dedication and care. Dirty Blue redefines what hand paint can mean. It is personal, it is professional, it is extraordinary. Because great art deserves tools that are made with as much passion as the art itself. This is Dirty Blue. Unremarkably simple, unapologetically precise. Okay, this is what, like, no. I literally overdid it with a few things there. I might rewrite it. Sorry. So right now, my kind of phrase line is artisanal professional watercolors, hand-milled with loads of passion and even more pigment. And I do like that still, but you know, maybe in that kind of marketing story, I can also add like pouring my passion into each pen, one layer at a time. I thought, you know, that has some kind of romantic feeling about it, which also sells. So maybe I'm going to imply that somewhere. Oh, we're going to work towards that. Yeah. yeah, I had some small things that that I've written down also, but I think I've overdone it a little bit, quite a bit. So I'm going to tune that down, but just put that. Like, it was in there, by the way. The spectrometer is one of the other things. I make, or as I would just, if we're being honest, I make paint, you buy it. Just as simple as that. And in case of pre-orders, you buy and I make. It's maybe oversimplifying it a little bit too much, but but the spectrometer is one of the other tools that I use, obviously. Yeah, so I'm just going to, I think, make a short video about all those elements in my process that show maybe where I make paint, but also how I make paint, and how I look at my product, how I work on my passion, and a voiceover like that, it might help. I don't know if it does. I don't want to make too much of a commercial out of it. Maybe I should. Maybe I should just, do it like that. Maybe I should use my own words a little bit more. Because some of that was just too much to say with a straight face. But anyway, guys, I just want to thank you for joining again today. You're not going to get any more out of me. I feel like shit. So it's I'm going off to bed. That's what I wanted to say. Going to have a good night's sleep, hopefully, and hopefully I feel a little bit better tomorrow. I might be, if I feel a little bit better, might be able to do a stream somewhere. It's definitely not going to be tomorrow, the way I feel right now. But it might be somewhere in the weekend. I don't know. Really depends on how everything else is going in the house and everything else. If I have a spare hour and I feel well enough, I can do that. Won't make any promises though. I'll keep you updated. On the post I made on YouTube, communities, like the text post thing, I asked which pigment you would like me to make into a paint, which one you like to see me making into a paint. And with that, I wasn't really aiming on what should I sell, but just what do you want to see. If you want to see meteorite, I can do that. If you want to see, things like moss sits, I've done that, but I can do those weird things. I can try the nanotube black, for instance. I can. You think of how weird, or I want to say how toxic, but I'm not going to make the most toxic stuff here. But I can open that cupboard for one time and just make something out of that. I will wear a mask though and gloves. Well, I have some beautiful lead pigments in there that I can show. If you're interested in any of those, if you just want to see that for the kick of it, don't. But if you are genuinely interested in like any kind of copper or heavy metal pigment or anything else, just leave a comment on that post, because I can definitely do that. But for those things, for those special things, either I need to look for them or I need to make kind of when it comes to the toxic stuff, I want to have a completely empty desk here, and now right now it's full of jars and things. I want to have fully empty that, so I need to have do some preparation before I can go live. I can't do that on the spot. So if you want to see any of that, let me know in the comments of that post. Anyway, thanks for joining, everyone. Hopefully everyone else is feeling great and isn't going to be ill. I hear a lot of people are. Hopefully none of you are. Nano Black would be cool. Yeah, it would be. It would be. Yeah, I agree. I've never opened that, by the way, so I have no idea what to expect. It's a fluid, that's all I know. And I can make watercolor out of it. That's also, that's what's on the website, but that's all I know. So it would be, I think, a one-time thing, but it would be cool. Let me know in the posts on the community tab or wherever you can find it, if you can think of anything. Thanks for joining, everyone. And Mark, again, thank you so much for your donation. I'm going to leave the chat open for a bit because I'm just going to clean up a little bit of stuff, because I'm afraid that if I can do a little bit of work tomorrow, I will just knock things over. I don't want to have that as well. So, going to do that, and see you soon. Thank you, guys.